Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Album of the Year. Today we're going to take a look at the year 1968, another stellar year for great debuts, early releases in a lot of classic bands' catalogs, just some terrific picks from the year, and one that I had a lot of trouble with. All right, so if the couple years prior, 65, 66, 67 weren't tough enough, 68 was especially troubling for me as I had two that were clearly near the top. And I can't tell you, I have agonized over this choice. I've gone back and forth on my pick between two contenders, and I've changed my mind like 5 times already. And I literally just like 5 minutes ago was going to go with one. I sat down and I'm like, no, I have to go with the other. And I'll tell you why. My choice, I think, that I'm going to go with, and again, there's almost no separation between the two of them. The choice that I'm going to go with, I think, is the one that I've listened to the most in my life. I think the one that's going to not get the nod today has a handful of tracks which I think are probably better than anything on the other one. But my winner, I think, top to bottom, is more cohesive. And I think it was just so influential on a style of music to come that kind of forever changed the definition of what we call kind of heavy, hard rock. All right. Again, if you ask me an hour from now, I may change my mind again. So that just goes to show you how much I love both of these albums and how important I think both of these albums are. But I had to make a choice. And that choice has flip-flopped back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's almost a tie, but I didn't want to do a tie. So the one I'm going to go with here was released in August of 1968, produced by Mickey Most on EMI, Columbia in the UK, Epic in the US. I'm talking about Jeff Beck, the Jeff Beck Group, Truth. Some of you are probably wondering, no, he didn't give it to Hendrix. These were the two, I'm telling you. I was prepared 5 minutes ago to sit down and proclaim Hendrix a winner for a second day in a row, but I've just been agonizing back and forth between these two. So let me a little bit of explanation again why I made this choice. So while this is an absolute artistic achievement, and it absolutely is, and there's some, All on the Watchtower, Machine Gun, so many great songs on here. We already know. But it's a long album. Okay, a lot of experimenting going on in that album. And I think that, as great as that album is, and it's great, it's my second favorite Hendrix studio album out of the three, and I love it, maybe trimmed a little bit, might have been a little more cohesive. It's still absolutely brilliant, okay, don't get me wrong. But I just think that when it comes down to it, all right, if I had to make a choice between the two, and that's what it came down to, this is the one that I've listened to a bit more in my life. This album, top to bottom, is just perfection. And this is the blueprint for, the Zeppelins and the Cactuses and the Humble Pies and all these other bands that kind of came out to do this kind of real heavy blues rock. This is almost like the blueprint for proto-metal, somewhat, right? You had the great husky, bluesy vocals of Rod Stewart. Never been better than on here, in my opinion. All right, you've got the... before Hendrix came about, you had Jeff Beck was kind of like the wizard, right, doing it all, and he does some incredible work on here. Okay, you got Ron Wood, right? You got Mickey Waller. I mean, you got was it Nicky Hopkins on here as well? Nicky Hopkins on piano, all sorts of guys kind of guesting on here, but that was the core of the group. Ron Wood on bass before he would go on to the Faces and the Stones, playing guitar. But I just think this is, got Shapes of Things. Okay, groundbreaking song. Okay, you got Let Me Love You. Killer electric blues, man. Just stinging guitar licks from Jeff. Morning Dew. All right. You Shook Me. A great rendition of an old blues classic. Just, Jeff's use of fuzz, right? That tone, just unbelievable. Again, the blueprint for Led Zeppelin is right here, folks. Right here. Old Man River. Green Sleeves. How majestic is that song, right? Rock My Plimsoll, another killer heavy blues rock tune. The grand Beck's Bolero. Doesn't get much better than that, right? Blues Deluxe. There's a reason why Joe Bonamassa has played that song on and off for so many years. Just absolutely amazing blues right there, electric blues. And then, of course, the rousing, kind of funky, Ain't Superstitious, right? That song basically is where Jeff took his band, the Jeff Beck Group. I guess after this band splinter in the second incarnation of the Jeff Beck Group kind of took up, the Ain't Superstitious, that whole style on that is what those two albums kind of came to be from, right? So, I don't know. Again, you go either way here, all right? My runner-up is, like I said, yesterday that was my pick, right? This morning when I woke up, that was my pick. I changed my mind 3 times this morning. It's hard. It's gonna get harder. Let me tell you, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. I mean, most of the first half of the 70s, it's going to be absolutely tough to just pick one. All right. But tough is fun sometimes. I like a challenge. And like I said, this is my pick, my favorite from 1968 today. Ask me tomorrow, it may be Electric Ladyland, but for today, I'm going to go with this one. You can't go wrong with either one. A lot of other good choices out there, so curious to see what you guys come up with and what you think is your favorite pick of 1968. Another great year in music. There's a lot of good ones coming up, so stay tuned tomorrow for 1969, which is jam-packed. I thought I had a hard time with this one today. I think I know what tomorrow's is going to be, but again, there's a lot of great choices. There's going to be a lot of debate on that one. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up later this morning, stay tuned. We're going to be doing a ranking the albums. Boy, there's a lot of albums of Canadian prog legend Saga. You did not want to miss that one. All right, also coming up over the next couple days, ranking the studio albums. Spock's Beard, ranking the studio albums of Hawkwind, ranking the studio albums of the Flower Kings. We've got this weekend coming up. Brian Slagle and Steve Keeler coming back on the show. We are going to be doing top 10 songs of King Diamond solo. For all you metal fans been screaming for King Diamond, that is coming up this weekend. Jack Toledano is coming back on the show this weekend as well. He has convinced me, also based on lots of viewer responses to our 70s kind of radio hits show that I did last weekend. Jack and I are going to do an 80s radio hits show this weekend, so you can look forward to that as well. So he convinced me. I was not really listening to radio much during the 80s. The early part I was, but not the rest of the decade. But I certainly was watching MTV and stuff, so I know what all the popular songs were. So Jack and I are going to get into doing our pop and some new wave stuff and all just radio music right from the 80s. So that's coming up on I think Sunday. Saturday or Sunday, not sure which day we're doing that yet. So stay tuned for all the good stuff, right, guys? And we'll see you real soon. Take care. Have a good one. Hopefully the weather is nicer where you're at. It's raining again in New York today. Seems like that Chicago. Every morning I get up, I look outside, and I just start singing that Chicago song. Just another rainy day in New York City. I'm not in New York City, but close enough, right? So anyway, hope the weather is good by you or going to get better. We'll see. And hope everybody's safe and well. And we'll see you real soon. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.